Hello, everyone. Welcome to Def News Studio. This is the Memo by Def podcast. I am joined by Ben. Ben, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for finding a subject worthy of an invite to your show. I've dropped some subtle hints over the lifetime of this show, but finally I'm on. Thank you very much.
You are, and hopefully it'll not be the last time.
Well, let's see how this one goes.
So on today's episode, Ben, we need to talk about Silicon Valley.
We do.
And for those people who do not know about Silicon Valley, the summary, according to IMDb, in the high-tech gold rush of modern Silicon Valley, the people most qualified to succeed are the least capable of handling success. A comedy partially inspired by Mike Judge's own experience as a Silicon Valley engineer in the late 1980s. I had no idea about that before I started watching it. So yes, it's Silicon Valley is created by John Altschuler. Apologies if I've mispronounced that. Mike Judge and Dave Krinsky. So they've all been part of King of the Hill, Office Space, Beavis and Butthead. And one was involved in a film that I like very much, Blades of Glory with Will Ferrell.
Oh, I've seen that.
Great, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe the next show.
There we go. Next episode sorted already.
Yeah.
So that is Silicon Valley. So Ben, you recommended Silicon Valley to me. How did you come across it?
Well, first of all, can I just get something off my chest real quick?
Please do.
This is obviously a little off script. Apologies. Just, you look like a guy that can take criticism quite well.
I was born taking criticism.
Can I give a bit of feedback on this show? Is that okay?
Please do.
Okay. I won't go too far because I like a rant, but I'll just keep it high level. Too much Gareth Gibson. Too much Gareth Gibson on the show. I've been a fan of this show since I got the invite last week. And yeah, I've been looking back, and there's a lot of Gareth Gibson on this show. I've got no problem with Gareth at all. In fact, it's the opposite. He's got too much going on for him. He's a great artist. He's a lovely person. You know, the guys want to have a beer with him. The girls want to go to bed with him. After a few beers, the guys are thinking about going to bed with him. The guy is like Ryan Reynolds. You know what I mean? Everyone loves him. You know, he's the whole package. You know, move on, Gareth. You've had a bite. You've had the biggest bite of this now. Leave the crumbs for the rest of us. That's all I got to say. Take what you will from that. I just, you know, I couldn't sit on it. I just had to give a bit of feedback. That's all right.
I appreciate your candor, Ben.
It's all right.
Yeah, Gareth, move aside.
Yeah.
Let some young blood in.
Take some crumbs for the rest of them, Gareth.
Oh, Gareth, you're so sexy right now. I mean, hot. Very sexy.
Yeah.
Oh, Freudian slip there by myself.
Anyway, what was the question? Sorry.
So, how did you come across Silicon Valley? Because it's been going.
Yeah, a while, isn't it?
Yeah, 2014 to 2019. So, what led you to this absolute gold comedy series?
Yeah, it's not. Well, I haven't seen it too much advertised over here, you know, on like streaming services and so on. I think the way I saw it. In fact, I know the way I saw it. I was on Reddit and I can't remember what post I was on, and then you know how like a comment chain just trails off. Someone would just put "this guy fucks," and then underneath that, someone put like the YouTube of that particular clip.
Whoa! I was just gonna say it. This guy fucks. Am I right? Because I'm looking at the rest of you guys, and this is the guy in the house doing all the fucking. Am I right? You know I'm right. This guy fucks.
Thank you.
And then people would start reference it, and then it kind of, you know, I looked at the YouTube video, then went down the rabbit hole, and I think when I first watched it, it was probably around like 2015, 2016, so maybe the first 2 to 3 seasons were on. So I watched them all, loved it, and then there was I can't remember, season 3 was coming out of season 4, but I didn't wait really, so I just watched them all again probably about 2 years ago, and I just binge watched the whole thing, and yeah, just loved it from there. But it was just that one little Reddit, obviously I don't know the Reddit user, but thank you for that one comment. It spurred me onto a podcast, so God, sliding doors, you know what I mean?
Well, it's funny that this guy fucks is the same way I got into it via you.
Yeah. I turned around and just said it to you, and then I got a blank face back, and I was like, "You don't know what I'm talking about, do you?"
Oh, but yeah, I mean, as way as selling a show, what's his name in it? I didn't listen, did I? No, didn't. The character's name is Russ Hanneman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Russ Hanneman is the perfect gateway into this TV show, especially if you watch Russ Hanneman best of.
Know it has 3 commas in it, Richard?
A sentence with 2 appositive phrases in it?
No, $1 billion. Yeah, I'm in the 3 comma club. You play your cards right, you could be in the 3 comma club too, but probably not. But you could be, but probably not.
You want to know what I have? A fucking car whose doors open like this. Not like this. Not like this. These are not the doors of a billionaire, Richard. Fuck you.
Okay, what dude?
It could be any dude, as long as you really want to fuck him. It could be a twink, a bear, an otter, a circuit queen, a chub, a pup, a gipster, a daddy chaser, a leatherman, a ladyboy, a Donald Duck. Donald Duck's a gay guy who's been kicked out of the Navy. My idea.
It was my idea.
Well, then fund it yourself. Fuck you, Richard Hendricks. Fuck you right in your little asshole. And not in the beautiful way like Grandpa and Pedro.
It does it perfectly, and which is strange because out of 53 episodes, he's only in 25.
Which, yeah, it's crazy. And even those 25, there's probably only 1 or 2 where he's kind of in for the longevity. Sometimes he just makes like a little bit of a cameo, then disappears, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's a boss character because in a strange way, I'm nothing like him, but I am. Mainly because of his love of really bad new metal music.
Right, yeah.
Because every time he's in his car, he's either playing Limp Bizkit, Crazy Town, or Papa Roach.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, when you see him driving away blasting that music, you can't help but think, oh yeah, this guy fucks.
This guy fucks, yeah.
This guy fucks.
So if that was a billionaire, if you were a billionaire, that's your look. The
100%. I would be
the jeans and the and anything hanging off the jeans with the Lamborghini in the background with Limp Bizkit bouncing.
Yeah, and I'd probably go get calf implants as well.
Oh yeah, that was a story I completely forgot about. Yeah.
Oh, he's fantastic. In fact, they all are. But so what is specifically, Ben, that you like about Silicon Valley? Because you are, as far as I'm concerned, an IT guru. Is it that aspect of it that really got you hooked in?
No, well, yes and no, really. As obviously kind of finding out about the comedy based around Silicon Valley got my initial interest. It's kind of a world that I'm in. As a side note, I'm not an IT guru at all, so I don't. I don't do code or anything like that. But no, it got me initially interested being that kind of world, and I've always been interested in kind of stories from Silicon Valley, and there's quite a good few books that have come out of the back of kind of how basically ruthless that world of Silicon Valley could be, and the money side of it and everything. So it was interesting to kind of see that. But the end of it, I think it's just like such a strong ensemble cast, and like every character is completely different from each other. And like as you say, like you can kind of, if you're in that world where kind of I am in that world in a sense, on the outside looking in, you can typically find like your Dinesh, your Guilfoyle type characters that you have from the outside looking in. Oh, it's just a bunch of nerds. But when you're in that world, you kind of have like they're the rock stars. Oh, I know it sounds stupid. They're like the rock stars of that place, and sometimes you do see people strutting around like rock stars, and you do have like back end developers that think they're better than front end developers. You've got full stack developers. You've got people who speak different types of coding language who think they're better than the other. But that initially got me got my first interest, as I said. But like, it is a funny program. I don't think you need to know the ins and outs of technology or even scripting or developing, because I think they explain it quite well throughout the show.
Yeah, I'd second that, mate, because I know literally sweet FA about anything that they're talking about.
Yeah.
But I just found myself going, well, yeah, they've explained it as well as I could possibly understand it. I'm not gonna nitpick through any information. Oh, hang on, what does this mean? I'll take it at face value and concentrate on the characters and the comedy and the situations they find themselves in, and it's another reason why I really did enjoy it, because I knew literally nothing of Silicon Valley. I just thought it was a place where Facebook is or companies are.
Yeah.
But I found it really interesting to know a little bit more about that culture, that side of things. And I mean, like I said, I don't know exactly what they're talking about all the time, but you're having that much of a good time with these characters. You just go, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I think the thing that sums that up the most is when they explain the middle out algorithm in the first series. I just think the way they explain that is just perfect, to be honest. Compared to, it's such a complex kind of coding that they did in terms of like compressing these like file images and video images and stuff like that, and the way they explain it to the audience and stuff like that is something special, really.
Yeah, it was. I think it was at that moment in the series where I was just like, "This is fucking brilliant."
Yeah, dick to floor ratio and Gef to Gef.
Oh yeah, brilliant. Well, going off that, I mean, there's not that many shows that cater to like tech nerds or tech expertise or whatever you want to call it. That side of it. Like, there was the IT crowd, over here, which I absolutely adore that show.
Yeah, that was really funny.
But it didn't go into specific details like Silicon Valley is. So do you think this is possibly the best show for tech nerds?
Of the shows that I know about, comedies, yeah, definitely. It's just, again, the IT crowd was, it's a good ensemble cast and stuff like that, and it is hilarious. And I think people watching the IT crowd, that's kind of what you see of IT people. They're in the basement, they're weird, they're awkward, and they're awkward with each other. Whereas Silicon Valley, in a sense, is kind of, you see how they perceive themselves in that role. Where Guilfoyle just thinks he's better than everyone else. Like he's a god walking around. Richard Hendricks just thinks, people who don't do code are beneath him. You know what I mean? And he doesn't give it the time. And then you've got, like, as you said, Russ Hannenberg, who made his money early on, and he's a multi-millionaire, a billionaire, in fact, isn't he? He's part of the 7 Comma Gang, the 7-0 Gang, or 3 Comma Gang. I can't remember what they call it.
3 Comma Gang, that's it.
3 Comma there, the 3 Comma Gang, and he's just, obviously, he's a tasteless billionaire, and it's just, I think it is hilarious. Yeah, I think, for what I know of, that's definitely the funniest one round.
I'd go with that. As much as I do love the IT crowd, I think it's a different kind of show. Although they are both comedies, but different styles of comedies. What I found really interesting is like the behind the scenes stuff regarding TJ Miller as Ehrlich Bachman,
Yeah.
because he kind of just goes, like, he's still mentioned and talked about and whatnot, but I didn't realize until delving a little bit deeper into the TJ Miller crazy life story that the man is absolutely batshit.
Yeah. I've seen a few interviews that kind of contradict the stories that come out. So from his point of view, I've seen stories that he was basically, you know, after 4 seasons, he's under the belief that characters go stale, and he had all these other opportunities, and like he gracefully stepped aside to allow the other characters to have better storylines. Where, you know, you hear from the show and so on that like he was just a nightmare to deal with. I think he was, you know, a pest to certain people and some of the cast. You know, all kinds of allegations came out about him and stuff like that. He, his character on the show was amazing, though. You know, take aside the actual person, the character he played, Bachman was, yeah. I don't know whether the show would have been as funny if he wasn't in it from the beginning.
Yeah, I'd go with that, and I do think the show kind of missed his presence towards the end. There wasn't anyone as crass as Ehrlich Bachman.
No,
they
didn't. They didn't replace him, did they? And I felt like because he was such a strong character, even if they attempted to replace it with someone, it would have been a little forced in a sense. And the way they kind of writ him off, they still opened the door for him to come back. Yeah. And I was, when I watched it, as I said, I watched the series 3 or 4, and he was still in it. And then when I rewatched the whole thing again a couple of years later, when the whole season had finished, I didn't read what was being going on, so I had no idea it had been written out at the time. So I thought he was coming back. I had in my head he was coming back, and I thought the whole story of Jin Yang trying to steal his identity, and where he brings the pig ashes to the court and said, "This is him. This is him in the book." I thought we'd want to see like a dramatic entrance, it's kind of like the IT ground, you know, when he comes in, goes "Father" and runs down. I thought we'd want to see something like that, and no, it didn't happen, and it is a shame. Like, but obviously, it was more not the character, it was more the person, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a shame because it was a great role for him. Probably his best ever role, because I've only seen bits of him in films, and
I was just going to say that myself. I know he does a lot of voice stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And obviously Deadpool he was in, but I haven't really seen him too much in anything else.
Yeah, and I was like you, mate, with that glimmer of hope of him coming back, especially in the very last season.
Yeah,
where they're trying to track him down, and it's Yin Yang.
Yeah, smoke and there's the data farm or whatever he had at the time. Yeah,
because they hinted at it so much on the build up to that reveal, like the car, the jet skis, all that. I was like, oh God, it's Ehrlich Bachman.
Yeah,
this is going to be great, and it was Yin Yang. I was like, although that is funny, I wanted to see Ehrlich Bachman.
Yeah, I wanted to see him back, but yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, I read one thing about him. Apparently, or should I say allegedly, he was trying to get his missus or his wife or something to not leave, and she was on a train, so he called in a bomb threat.
Bomb threat, yeah, read that myself. Yeah, I think he got arrested for that, didn't he?
Yeah. I'm not sure if he's been convicted or not, but I mean, if that is true, it kind of sums him up.
Yeah,
of how mental he was or is.
Wild card.
Yeah. Wild card, bitches.
No, brakes! Guys, why aren't the brakes working?
Because I cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches! Yeah!
What? Oh, God! Oh, my God!
So on the final season, I enjoyed it because I thought it was a bit different, but it was a bit jarring in terms of the big time jump.
I wasn't a fan. Again, I just kind of watched the shows and I didn't know it was coming up in a sense. And then, yeah, the opening scene where you kind of like, it's not quite right here. And he obviously looks a bit older, the makeup and stuff, and then it turns out to be a mockumentary about the rise and fall. I don't know. I just again it kind of closes the door of kind of any future shows now. Like you don't, you know, you're not going to see Silicon Valley again. So they didn't. Basically, yeah, they closed the door on that opportunity. I didn't like it. I thought it was, yeah, I still enjoyed it, but I don't know. I think I don't like it because it wasn't the happiest of endings. You know, Richard Hendricks kind of being what is he? He's a professor in Stanford teaching Gavin Belson's technology ethics, and you're kind of like, oh, what a kick in the balls for someone like the character being so talented and for what he did and stuff like that. And obviously, you see the story, and it does flashback in terms of how he self-sabotaged Pied Piper internet because it would take over the world. Basically, robots would take over the world and would be the dawn of Terminator if it continued on. So he did sacrifice his life work for it. But how he ended up getting a job through Big Head at Stanford, he's kind of like, oh, it's I don't know. I get the joke. I understand. I completely understand the joke. But it's kind of like, oh, it's a bit of a kick in the balls now.
I mean, I think that would have been better served as as a little extra on like the DVD, or even if you just put it out on YouTube or something. I think that would have been cool. And we were kind of robbed of what happens in between that.
Yeah.
And I get not knowing something, you can have a bit of fun with it with yourself and make up your own story to it, but yeah, it was just it did come out of the blue, and yeah, it reminded me of have you seen The American Office?
Yeah.
You know where I think it's the very final episode they done something similar where they had all the characters out on.
Oh, is that where they're on stage and stuff like Q&A thing? Yeah, I remember that now.
And it smacked of that, and I just didn't like it. I was like, no, this is not for me.
It's I wouldn't say it's like a rushed ending, but I think it kind of was I don't know, they kind of picked up the pieces, and it just kind of like an easy ending, if you know what I mean. They just ended it a bit too easy. Nothing was open. I suppose he lost the USB, didn't he? Actually, now thinking out loud, right? The last scene is Richard Hendricks going, "I've actually still got Pied Piper on a USB."
Yes,
and he's rummaging through it. Have you seen? I think it's like a green USB. Have you seen a green USB? So obviously that opened the door to actually. I've just thought of that now as I was slagging off the ending. In fact, you know what? I love that ending. It opens the door to so many other opportunities.
Well, would you like to see it come back in any way, shape, or form?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how it would. I obviously don't have the creative skills to even think what kind of story they'd go down, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I honestly I'd be happy if they left it as. I'd take the time jump ends and just go, well, yeah, we've had how many? What, five seasons?
Five seasons, I think it was. Yeah,
we've had 5 seasons of gold. That's enough. Anymore, you're gonna, in my opinion, anyway, you'd ruin the legacy of the show.
Yeah, I don't know how you would even do it, because obviously the mockumentary was 10 years later, so you can't really have a reunion episode in any sense, could they? I suppose the only story that they could have is that, you know, the Chinese stole the USB with Pied Piper, but you know, yeah, I think yeah, it doesn't need to come back. I think 5 seasons is enough.
Yeah. So Ben, we have an absolute, I'm going to say it, an orgy of great characters in Silicon Valley.
Can't wait to say it.
I've got a lot of love for the majority of them. But who is your favorite character?
It's gotta be Donald, aka Jared. It's just, he comes softly spoken. He's so friendly. He's knowledgeable. He's probably, I think, didn't he leave Hooley, where he was on like, you know, 6-figure salary to come and help Richard Hendricks lift things up, and he's patient. But then you see snippets throughout the season, and as it goes on, his backstory starts to develop and how he had a rough childhood and stuff. But then you see the dark side of Jared, whose real name is Donald, but he's too polite to correct everyone, so he just accepts Jared. And some of the times he just snaps. And the running joke, which it's the line that got me into the show, going, you know, this guy fucks, and then no one believes him. No one believes that this guy Jared. How could Jared fuck? He can't fuck. He's just he's not even a man. But then the scenes where Jared says, like, you know, I just want to let my hair down for a week or two, and you just see women in and out the house and stuff like that. And but sorry to go back to the dark side of Jared, where he snores in German.
I've forgotten about that.
Sorry, he sleep talks in German, snores in German. I don't know how that would sound. He sleep talks in German. He chased Richard Hendricks down the street with a BB gun.
You did this, Richard!
Ow, what the fuck?
You know, the line, if anyone, like, if you've seen a bit later on in the season, there's a "How'd you like to die today, motherfucker?" You know what I mean?
Colin! You shut the fuck up!
How would you like to die today, motherfucker?
No, it's not a real death threat, sir.
Well, yeah, he's probably my favourite. I feel that we should have seen more of Big Head, if I'm honest. I don't know, and I haven't read into this, so I'm basing this on absolutely zero sources or facts. But I felt like Big Head was meant to be a big part of season 1, but then he just disappears. Obviously, he comes back with Alec Bachman and does Bachmanity and stuff like that. But then he just disappears again. I didn't know he was kind of like has he got any writing credits or anything like that with the show?
Let me have a gizzy gander.
Because he just seems kind of like he just comes in and goes out as he pleases, and it's just, I don't know, he's kind of got that power because he's part of the, I don't know, the backroom staff, say. But I don't know. It just I felt like more Big Head would have been good.
Yeah, he was no writing credits.
No, okay,
no.
fair enough. Maybe
Although,
that was the whole plan all along.
Yeah, he always seemed to me like a character to swing in at the final moment, or to have some sort of stupid revelation that somehow makes sense.
This big gulp, yeah, just sipping on. He's just a guy that throughout the whole series just lands on his feet. Just, you know, he'll fall back and just lands on his feet somehow, in some way.
Just through sheer incompetency. It's
I could do with a bit of Big Head luck.
You and me both, mate. But yeah, it's you see, I'm with you. Jared is by far my favourite character for all the reasons you've stated. But another one I really like is actually Laurie Bream.
Oh yeah, she's you know, I always reference her as the one from Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
She in that?
Oh, please tell me she is. Isn't she the not Ryan Reynolds, aka Gareth Gibson, not Ryan Reynolds' girlfriend's the other one? Who's the smaller, dark haired guy?
Oh my god! Oh, I know. He's been in
Always Sunny in Philadelphia, wasn't he?
Yes, that's it. I don't know his name, but yes, she was in Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
I don't know why. It just I remember seeing. I was like, oh, she's in Two Guys, and then remember the TV channel Trouble, and just nostalgia just came popping up.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh, that's pulling my tits off. That I used to love that show.
Yeah. Well, she was a replacement for, I'm not forget his name now. The main investor in series 1 who died. He died in real life. The actor.
Yeah. Oh, what's his name? Where's the cast list?
Because he was obviously the guy. Was it Paul? No, it's not Paul. I can't remember. Are you looking for it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, saves me a job. Because he was obviously the main investor, and he was Gavin Belsen's rival. So I think what they were trying to do there, that was kind of like the, you know, Apple, Microsoft, IBM, Microsoft, kind of, Google, all these tech giants, heads of. He was obviously on the spectrum, and you saw that in season 1 and how he thinks in his thought process and everything. I believe between season 1 and season 2, he died. The actor died.
Yeah.
So they brought Laurie Bream in, didn't he? Which was basically a like for like character. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, very much so, mate. It was, although it's not often that works when you bring in a like for like character, but
Yeah,
it really did. Peter Gregory is his name.
Peter, it's the character's name, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Christopher Evan Welch. Yeah. You see, watching it, I didn't realize he died in real life, and I thought that was like quite like, oh my god.
The next it, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, why did they get rid of him? He was great, and yeah, he unfortunately passed away. But yeah, those two characters, like you say, are pretty much like for like, but because we've seen more of Laurie Bream, I love how robotic she is.
Yeah, very, very robotic, gives no emotions away. Isn't it a season where she gives birth? People are like, you're pregnant? And oh my god, you're pregnant. Why the reaction? And then like the next day she gives birth and she's back at work again. Yeah, she's it's a good character.
Because I think in some ways I would like to be like that, just methodical, straight to the point, get the job done. But no, I'm up here with all my emotions.
Yeah, stop dicking around. We just get on with the job.
Yeah, get on with it. So, Ben, we've had 5 seasons of pure comedy magic. Do you have your top 5 Silicon Valley moments?
I have. They're not in any particular order. I think I've got to have This Guy Fucks. They're just that running joke. Anything to do with Jared and the running joke. As I mentioned before, no one believes that this guy fucks. But as the season progresses, this guy fucks, and he's quite the man, Jared. He really is. So anything to do with Russ Hanneman in the episodes is always a winner. But this guy fucks. The whole storyline around that, love it.
Yeah.
I would say the middle out algorithm scene. I know we just touched on it before, but so basically the middle out algorithm scene is it all stems from, it's the season finale of season 1, and it basically comes to a point where Pied Piper, which is the company that the characters form, Richard Hendricks being the CEO, they create basically software that compresses files, images, videos like we're on right now to such a small point that it would improve everything. It'll improve internet traffic, it'll improve everything. So you'll get 4D, you'll get like 4D picture on like the slowest internet connection ever because everything's been compressed in the files. Anyway, what's actually happened is that another giant company has stole his work, and it all comes to a point at the end of season 1 where they're at an event called TechCrunch, and they got to present their work. There happens to be this big tech data called Hulu, which is supposed to represent Google, but pretty much does, goes before Pied Piper and basically presents Pied Piper's work, branch it as their own, and then basically they're screwed. And so they're all talking about how screwed they are. And the conversation starts in a hotel room where they're all exhausted. They don't know where to go. They've got, one night to come up with basically a brand new system. And then the conversation talks about they've only got 10 minutes to present whatever this would be, and there's nothing to present at this moment in time. They would have a better chance, I'll use the American phrase, jerking off everyone in the audience. And then they start talking about it in a deeper level, going, well, how are you going to jerk off 800 people in 10 minutes? And then they go, do 2 at a time. You can't do 2 at a time, can you? Because you'd still have another 10 minutes to go. And then someone says, if you get the tips of the penis in each hand and put them together like this and start from the middle and go out, you can then do 4 people at a time. And then it starts going from there. And then they start getting a bit more serious, saying, well, what about height? People standing up. And they go, yeah, we got to line people up by height. And then they go, what about girth? yes, you got to do get. And then basically, the penny drops with Richard Hendricks, who then disappears into another room and goes into. Have you seen their Social Network?
Yes.
So I don't know whether it's meant to be a parody of that, where basically he goes into the zone and codes for 12 hours or whatever it may be, but it basically disappears, comes out with this middle out compression. So rather than starting from the top of the file to the bottom of the file or bottom to you go middle out in both directions. And they win the award of that TechCrunch. But I'm doing it absolutely no justice at all. But the way they explain that, and then they come up with their own their own equations. I think it was Dick to floor, and they go, let's call that D2F. And then, just little things like that. I just found it absolutely hilarious. And to be honest, it was genius.
I completely agree. Mate. And another bit that I really liked about that scene, it like a proper like howls, is when Ehrlich goes on stage to present it, and he's gone full on Steve Jobs.
Shit with the turtleneck and everything. Yeah.
and he's got the lighting he wanted because he was really specific up to the production crew about like he wants a certain spotlight, lights behind him, and he's about to get into it. And he gets tackled by that fella whose wife he was having sex with.
He was shagging, yeah. Another one. It's not really a particular scene or moment. It's more of kind of how the relationship between two characters folded out. It's between Ehrlich and Jin Yang. Now, the way that happened, and like it always, have you seen Entourage?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was a fan of Entourage, to be fair. But the relationship, and this is not kind of a race thing, it just happens to be the same relationship. The relationship between Ori Gold and, do you remember his PA or whatever? Lloyd.
Yeah.
And the way he abused, like, it basically the big mouth American to kind of like the smaller, quieter Asian person. And just that relationship and the way he's just like Jin Yang, and it's just everything that goes through, and Jin Yang is just like burning trash or whatever he's doing, just that keeps getting one over. Like, and he's just getting frustrated all the time. I think that whole story is just so funny.
I loved how dark it got between them two.
Yeah, near the end, yeah, especially when Ehrlich left, and then he just tried to steal his identity completely. I think just to go back, like kind of what that replacement of Ehrlich would be. I don't know whether they tried to bring Jin Yang in, obviously more to replace Ehrlich, but as we said before, you couldn't do a like for like. So I think they tried to step up a lot of other characters to kind of fill that void of Ehrlich.
Yeah, I'd go with that. I'm thinking that way. It did kind of work because Jin Yang is he's as funny as he is. He's almost like the super villain of the show.
Yeah.
But no one recognizes him as the super villain. They just go, "Oh, it's Jin Yang. Let's ignore him.
Yeah.
We've got other stuff to do." And he's plotting in the background and moving to China, stealing their ideas, and then selling it to Gavin Belson and obviously hunting down Ehrlich.
The app that he created, just how things like spin off. He created an app that would identify food, and Laurie Bream, being the genius that she is, saw the AI as not to identify food, but how good it was to identify, was it dick pics on the internet, which would then trace back to find, obviously any, anyone who shouldn't be doing what they're doing on the internet. But just how things turn out with Jin Yang and stuff like that is quite, because was he even in season one? I don't even know if he was in the background of season one or he got introduced in season two. But it was a slow build, put it that way.
Yeah, I don't think he was in season one actually.
I might be doing a complete disjustice here. It might be like the start of season one, but
I mean, I do like the slow burn of his character development. It goes down a very dark and sinister road. Which I felt it was good because there's plenty of villains in Silicon Valley like Gavin Belson, but I don't think Gavin Belson would go as far as to steal someone's identity just to get the house.
just the little condo.
That grubby little condo. Oh, so is that
That's
that's
three.
Three.
Three, yeah. Another one. Again, it's more of a moment, and it's just kind of I feel like I haven't talked about him enough, but Dinesh and how he's like I was saying, obviously Guilfoyle walks around like he's a rock star. Dinesh wants to be that person, and he like any opportunity to get one over someone else or to have any sort of power, he'll take it with both hands. And I think the rise and fall of Dinesh during his short tenure as CEO of Pied Piper was just amazing. And I think it may have been season 4, the first couple of episodes, and I think the season opens up with Dinesh, and he looks completely different. He's had like, his hair done and all. I think they call it a glow up. I think he's had a proper glow up.
Yeah.
And basically, it turns out that he hasn't signed the correct compliance act or what legal act that's required to have a chat a chat program online to invite people in, and it ends up being a chat feature called Piper Chat that is just used to groom kids. And because he hasn't signed this compliance act, any active user, or I can't remember if it's any active user or any active message that's sent, he's liable for it. And I think it's like $10,000 per message that's sent, and they put a counter in the living room, in the lounge or whatever, and he's up to like, I don't know, hundreds of millions, and you just see him have an absolute meltdown. So he goes from being the smug CEO of a company to this just coward and ball of a wreck in the corner of this whole condo.
Yeah, you summed it up. Like the rise and fall of Dinesh was glorious to watch, and I absolutely love his and Guilfoyle's friendship / competition with each other constantly.
Yeah, I do find, and just to go back, and I did say I didn't like the final episode, but the more I think about it, I was like, oh, yeah, it wasn't that bad actually. But the first scene that you see both of them in, that final episode, and you think they're in two different places, and they're talking about how they're both the CTO of a, I don't know, successful company, and they look like them two, and then they pan out, it's just the same desk, but like they've got their own personality attached to the desk. Like so they've got like, one's got a grey background, one's got a colourful background, but they're literally sitting right next to each other. I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like the thing, I don't know why, like just off the top of my head, I always liked the episodes with Dinesh, when he gets the gold chain.
Oh my god, yeah. Some of the insults that get thrown to it. In fact, Jared says the best line in that one. When you see the dark side of Jared, I won't be able to do any justice. It's like, hey, Dinesh, did you wear that chain when you're choking your mother? Why you fucking her? And then everyone just goes, what the fuck?
Hey Dinesh, nice chain. Do you choke your mother with it when you put your penis in her butthole?
What the fuck? Oh, shit.
What I like about Guilfoyle and Dinesh is, I mean, like you alluded to with the final episode, they are destined to spend the rest of their lives together.
It's a love-hate relationship, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
basically it's a marriage.
Yeah.
There you go. That they've got.
And I loved it when Guilfoyle, it was in one of the earlier seasons, I think, and Guilfoyle's girlfriend's round.
Yeah.
And he tells he tells Dinesh that his girlfriend wants to have sex with him.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on. It's like, is Guilfoyle fucking with me on this? And he confronts his Guilfoyle's girlfriend, and she's like, I never said that.
But the thought process that he puts on, because he has like a storyboard, he has a pro and con board, and he's got about 25 cons, because they're all to do with Guilfoyle. And then the only pro is ejaculation, and he's like, yeah.
I will not fuck with Guilfoyle in the room.
And Ehrlich denying that it's Dinesh that she fancies, and it must be Ehrlich.
Oh, when he goes in the pool and tries to be all sexy.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. So, your final top moment for the.
See, I struggle for this one because I feel that because obviously I've got the Jared moment, but I've got to bring a Russ Hanneman moments into as well. Maybe in the first season where they're transferring all the data from the previous platform to Pied Piper, and it's all going well. It's all fine. Then all of a sudden, they think they're being hacked because all the files are deleting them just as quick as they're being moved over. And they're panicking. They're going around, and it turns out that Russ Hanneman's just got a bottle of tequila resting on the delete key of the keyboard, and he's like, "Oh, whoops," and then just walks out like it's not his problem. It's just that kind of billionaire kind of attitude where he's like, "Oh, you can fix my problem. I'm out of here."
It's got nothing to do with me. I'm just the money guy.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, it's Russ Hanneman is such a star in this show. It's I'm glad they didn't bring. I'm glad we didn't get too much of him because you'd only need a little bit.
Yeah, you wouldn't blame. I know they had the Russ Fest, but you wouldn't have blamed it for really sticking Russ Hanneman in your face after Ehrlich left, because I suppose the closest kind of, brash, kind of rude, obnoxious character that they had as well as Ehrlich, didn't he? So it wouldn't surprise me if they did that. But no, I think they treated it quite well. I thought Russ Fest, I thought that was a good storyline as well.
Oh, the giant hologram of him.
The giant hologram, yeah. He was I haven't really seen him in much, but I remember seeing him. He's in The Office randomly. You've seen the American version of The Office?
Was he?
It's a blink and you miss it moments. And it was talking about, I only mentioned it because you mentioned it before, near the end where they started bringing in like the production crew and the cameraman and stuff like that. I think he's like the sound guy. He's holding the boom and stuff like that.
Oh, he is the one that's attracted to Pam.
To Pam, yeah. And there's this kind of eye contact going on between them for like an episode or two. Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
Ben, you're blowing my tits off in this podcast.
Yeah, that's what I'm here to do. Hold on to your tits.
Oh, wow, he was in Red Notice as well. Oh. I'm not sure if you've seen Red Notice with Gareth Gibson and The Rock.
Oh, is that the straight to Netflix film?
Yeah.
No, I didn't bother.
He was you made the right decision there. But yeah, he was in that as one of the villains. My God, yeah. Chris, I'm not even gonna try and pronounce his surname.
Another one.
That is there's a lot of letters. But yeah, I struggled with my top 5 moments, Ben, because I watched it towards the end of last year. And the only one that stood out to me is one we mentioned before, actually, is when Jared absolutely flips out on Richard.
Oh, yeah.
Because Richard keeps calling him a buddy fucker. And he gets the air rifle and shoots him in the arse. It's just brilliant.
Googly eye.
No.
Oh my God. Oh, okay. Look, I'm sorry.
No.
All right.
I ought to knock your teeth out, you bitch-made motherfucker.
I didn't mean, okay?
I was steep raised. You think I'm scared to catch a case on some bullshit?
I'm sorry, Jared. I didn't mean it, okay? I'm sorry, Guard. I didn't mean it.
You keep her name out of your skanky little mouth, you little bitch!
Hey, this is a place of business. Oh my God. Don't shoot me. Jared!
Don't bled, Peckerwood, motherfucker!
Jared!
Get shit!
Another, it's not like a lot like your picks. And it's not really a scene, but it's a series of things. It's Jared emotionally breaking down. What's his name? He's Richard's new.
Oh yeah, the guy gets some coffee and stuff like that. Yeah. It's just standing over him in the background and stuff like that. Yeah. That's the dark side of Jared that I like to see. He's good. He kind of plays the same character in The Office in a sense, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
But I think he's a bit more wet in The Office. I can't think of a better kind of term, but he's a bit more like wet and kind of he hasn't got he doesn't snap. He just basically
He's
a bit
just
wet.
yeah. I think wet's the perfect word to describe it. Gabe Lewis's name is in the office. Yeah, Gabe Lewis is
Gabe, that's it. Yeah.
proper
He's
wet.
he's just the doormat, isn't he, for everyone?
He is. Yeah. Holden, I think the lad's called. His slow mental torture of the poor lad Holden, and it gets to
Yeah.
the point where I can't remember exactly what happens, but they're celebrating in the office, and Holden's on the desk, who was really like quite nice and timid, and you just see him going, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
snap! Yeah, like over to celebrate. Yeah.
And Guilfoyle says to someone, "Wow, Jared's really done a number on him."
Well, look at that.
Jared finally broke him.
Yeah.
Holden slowly becomes Jared, and the roles change. It's someone else in the office that that's annoying him, and he starts stalking him and like bullying him and whatnot. It's like my God, Jared is probably one of the darkest characters in comedy.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Zach Woods, his name is. Yeah, he's been in loads, and he always, like you said, he always plays near enough the same character. But with Silicon Valley, he is infinitely darker and state raised.
He's
Oh, sorry, mate, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say they're all kind of like stand-up comedians, aren't they? Well, the main core ensemble are stand-up comedians. I don't know if you see them kind of some of the outtakes, and I don't know whether it is kind of improv some of the stuff, but some of the outtakes of Zach Woods, Jared, and there's one where he just keeps describing himself and kind of what his mum used to call him and stuff like that. It's like I can't remember what it was. It's like if a ghost was a virgin, it looked like you, or something along them lines. It's just, yeah, they're all hilarious, like in their own right.
Yeah, I mean, the one character who does kind of make me feel a bit nauseous, just because of how like skittish and gibbering he is Richard.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's obviously the character he's obviously playing, isn't he? He's way in over his head, but he doesn't want to give up that power. But he's just completely just awkward. Just very doesn't know how to run a business, but he knows how to write code. That's pretty much sums them up. And as I said at the beginning, kind of he looks down on anyone who doesn't write code. So how can someone run his business if they don't write code? And that's kind of his mindset throughout. And he goes with. You kind of see kind of how power hungry, and he's got like a bit of a dark side to him as well, and he completely manipulates Big Head at times and uses him for all kinds. And
he slowly turns into Gavin Belson in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
My other favorite moment regarding Gavin Belson is every time he does a meeting with the shareholders.
Oh, with the animals.
He always brings in an animal.
Yeah.
And he absolutely berates this poor bulldog.
Consider the bulldog, a grotesque monstrosity born of relentless inbreeding, riddled with sinusitis, crippled by joint pain, chronically flatulent. A kindly pet or humanity's cruelest mistake? All right, take it away. Ladies and gentlemen, just like that horrible creature, the entire nucleus program was the result of inbreeding. Is it any wonder the result was just as unspeakable as that thing? Bring it back here. Look at that hideous face. All right, get it out of here.
Yeah, the ugliest dog and stuff like that. The rabbit in the hair and all kinds, yeah. And the elephants.
Yeah, the elephant that dies.
I know. How they get rid of the elephants.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed like pretty much all the characters, but I'd say Jared's the obvious winner, but also Gavin Belson just cracks me up how insane he gets and just how pompous he is. Oh yeah, great show. I'm glad I'm glad you got me onto it, mate, because yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's an easy watch. I don't think you really need to know too much technology and stuff like that. And like I said, they explain it by, jerking off 800 people at the same time. So it's whatever walk of life you come from, they'll explain it to you. Yeah, in a sense, you'll understand.
Exactly. I think that's why I didn't really. I mean, I'd heard of it, but I just thought, what do I know about technology? This isn't going to be made for me, is it? I'm going to be completely out of my depth. But no, yeah, they explain everything very simply and well, and it's more of a background. What I did notice, Ben, like every time a new episode started, the 10-second intro.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. Yeah,
it's
Silicon Valley.
It's the most fascinating intro I've ever watched because because usually after a while I'll just skip it, even if it's like The Sopranos. I'll just skip it and get to the story. But with the Silicon Valley intro, there's so much going on.
But it represents that time in Silicon Valley, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I think you see the first one and you see Napster. It's quite funny. I think it's Napster that they use as an example. Napster's got a building within Silicon Valley. You can see it's one of the bigger buildings. And in Series 2, it's a smaller building. And then I think in Series 3, it's a hot air balloon that just bursts halfway through. I think it's Napster. There might be another company I'm thinking of, but then you see the likes of Uber and all kinds get bigger and bigger. And I think obviously Hulu, which represents Google's always there. But no, it's clever. It is kind of like a layered comedy in a sense of that. And I think like if you do come from that world of code and stuff like that, you'll have another appreciation of the show. But like I said, you don't need to know that and
no, I mean,
enjoy it.
Before we started, I watched like a little explainer video on the intro, and I thought it was detailed at first, but it goes into so much. There's lots crammed in there. Like there's one company that like the FBI got included in the intro. You see like little FBI cars outside that building.
Oh right, I think I remember the police cars, FBI cars, but I didn't represent it to anything.
Yeah, because that's what I like. It's just 10 seconds, but they cram so much into that 10 seconds. You need to keep watching it to see what company's gone down, what company's gone up.
Yeah.
And even when you see like the little Uber blimp, and I think there's the Uber blimp, another company that's like Uber, and the Chinese version of that.
Yeah.
And kind of like button together.
Oh yeah, fighting. Yeah, in the air.
And the Chinese one's off in the distance, just not doing anything because it's a lesser form of Uber.
I
was well impressed by that. It was adds a little extra layer to it. So yeah, Ben, I think that wraps us up for Silicon Valley chat. Unless there's anything you'd like to throw into the mix.
No, not really. I've had me rant about Gareth Gibson. I've covered off what I can of Silicon Valley. This might be my last time on YouTube, so I just want to, if you allow me, can I just do something I've always wanted to do? I see everyone do on YouTube.
As long as you don't strip off, mate, that's fine.
Oh, I'll leave it then. No, it's fine. I'm joking. No, it's all it is just want to look at the camera and say like and subscribe. That's it. There's nothing it is. You can edit that out, by the way.
No, that's saying it.
Like and subscribe. Add a comment. It's good for the algorithm.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you.
It's all right. All right.
I can't believe I'm not paying you for this.
There we go.